Um, Hi everyone, and welcome to my studio. I'm Heather Robertson with KTC Designs. Instead of doing our TV launch for our brand new products, we're live from my home studio today. Um, Now, I do need to say I'm expecting an international delivery, which is supposed to be coming on Monday, and they've decided to deliver today, right in the time slot of this show. Now, if that does happen, I'll quickly pop on the slideshow and I'll be right back, I promise. Hopefully, they'll deliver late. But straight on to what you've all been waiting for, the launch of the new Mother Duck and Ducklings mold. So let's switch over to our overhead over here. Now, all the products that you see, or most of the products that you see on today's show, will be available to buy from ktcdesigns.com. Ian's helping me in the office, and he and the team will be posting links in the comments below as to where you can find each of these products. So here we go. Here is the new Mother Duck and Ducklings mold, and look how sweet they are. So you've got Mummy Duck, three little ducklings, and they don't have to be just Mummy Duck and ducklings. If you want, why not add Daddy Duck into the mix as well? So you can paint these however you like. Um, it doesn't have to be a duck either. It could be a goose with a golden egg. Now let's see if I've got a golden egg here. Not quite a golden egg, but it's a chocolate golden egg. So you've got Mummy Goose and her goslings as well. Obviously the goslings would be grey, but you know, this is art and craft. Who cares? You can make things whatever colour you want. They could be blue chicks if you wanted to. Right, let me show you how to use the mould, how to get the clay into the mould, and how easily it releases. Now, as I said, I'm in my home studio, and it's only a small room. I've got stuff everywhere around me. And this is the first live stream that I'm doing. So bear with me. If things go wrong, let's hope they're funny instead of a disaster. First thing I'm going to do with my mold, they are made of high grade silicon. You can twist, you can bend, you can stretch them. Just don't put anything sharp against them. You don't want to add any detail, any extra detail to your molds, because these molds have beautiful detail already. Um, they are oven safe. So if you were using this for, say, boiled sugar, for instance, um, you can pop these in the oven up to 200 degrees Celsius. So it's perfect for your epoxy resins, which will generate heat. It's perfect for your oven baked clays. And because the silicon is so high grade, it's firm enough to hold the detail, all that lovely detail that you need, and it's soft enough to flex and release your character, your project. Now I'm carefully pressing the clay into the mould, but I'm also pulling it away from the edges to make for easier release. I conditioned my mould with corn flour, so that will get rid of any extra moisture. And then I'm pulling off any excess clay with my finger, with my thumb. Just pull it off the edge. And then when you're not using your clay, keep that in a plastic container while you're using it. Cover it up so that it doesn't dry out. Give your mold a wiggle and a twist. And your little duck should hop out of your mold. Just like that. And look at all that lovely fine detail in the wing and in all the feathers there. Now you can have your duck's head up like that, or if you want to, ducks tend to have their heads a little bit more like that. So just squash that down like that. There you go. Or you could have him or her looking down. Actually, I'm going to have her looking down like that because I want her talking to a little chick. Be careful not to squash any of the detail in the mould while you're manipulating it. And let's go and take some bright yellow here. I want him talking to this little character here. So press the clay into the mould, squish that in. You can also use a cosmetic sponge if you really want to push the clay away from you without it sticking to your fingers. This is a good method. You can actually, for some of the thinner pieces, you can get your clay really nice and thin doing it this way. And then pull off any excess, put that back in with the rest of your clay. Give your mould a flex, and he literally hops out of the mould. There we go. Hey Mum, did you know it's Easter? Sorry, I talk to my characters. And when that's done, just place that onto some paper towel to dry out. And then, of course, I like to make up a whole bunch of these, just like this. And you can have them in different colours too. So there I've got a pale pink one. There's cream, white. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that one in a minute. Let's pop her legs back onto her for now. And got a couple more mallard ducks here. Now these are really, really easy to paint. If you paint them, if you colour them in a pale cream or brown, you can just give a light dust of white acrylic paint over the top and that will lift up all that feather detail. Or you could just give it a little blush of pink onto the chest area there and that will be just enough. And then you can paint the legs, paint the beak, or you could use a two-tone clay. In fact, let me show you how to use two-tone here. Let me find some orange clay. I've got every colour out apart from my orange. I'm just going to mix that with a bit of yellow, make that a little bit more orange. There we go. And then taking a sharp tool like this one, not a sharp tool but a pointy tool, I'm going to press some coloured clay into the feet area like that. Just bring that into the centre. And in fact, I'm going to take this piece back because I know this is just enough clay. I'm going to cut the beak and the legs off. Press that where it should be, like that. And let's position this back into the mould. I like, when I'm doing two tones like this, I do like to mould the piece in full first and then cut off those areas where you're going to be adding the colour. I find I get a much crisper line and you're not distorting the shape and pushing things out of alignment. Just to remind you, if you want to, you can find all of our products on ktsuedesigns.com on the website. So please pop over there, pop it into your basket, and I'll show you some other fun molds that you can add to those as well. And there you have two-tone without painting. And all you need to do with that, because it's not white, this is just a nice cream colour, you just have to brush some gilding wax or some white acrylic paint over the top of that and you're good to go. I'll pop that over to one side just so it can dry. And I'm going to, I want to show you, I think we can add, let's start sticking some of these down and then I can move on to the next mould to show you. Now, I was looking for a plant pot, but with the limited time I had, I couldn't find a plant pot, so I opted for an Easter bucket instead. This was just one that I bought from a craft store, and I repainted it. It had some, I think it had some carrots or some birds on it or something, but I repainted this with acrylic paint, gave it a nice outdoor theme, and thought, I, I think Mummy Duck needs to go on here, and we can then decorate this as we go. So as I show you more molds, we'll add some more things to this. So let's pop some glue onto our duck. Now, when you're putting a piece onto a curved surface like this, if you dry them flat, they're going to be flat like that. They're not going to curve around your piece. So when you're drying something when you know that you're going to be sticking this to a curved surface, let it partly dry on your surface like that before you stick it down while it's wet. And then that way, when you come to stick it to your project, you're not going to have lots of gaps that you need to fill. So this one, you might be able to see from the top there, it's already curved. There you go. So I'm going to pop that right in the center here. Now, as I said, this could be a plant pot or it could be an Easter bucket. So we've got Mother's Day just around the corner too. This could be the perfect gift for best mum or best nan with a crocus or daffodil flower inside. Or you can keep it for Easter and then we can fill this with some Easter eggs at the end, which is what I'm going to do. So let me move the grown-up ducks out of the way for a minute. The other lovely thing, I think Ian's just mentioned it there, remember with Hearty Soft clay, which is the clay I'm using today, it's an air dry clay. It's really, really soft, really, really lightweight as well. So this is not going to add any extra weight to your cards and to your projects. So I'm using white and I'm mixing that with some of the colours, and all of these are available on the Katie Sue Designs website. So that is at katiesuedesigns.com. I'll move those to one side. Right, let's quickly add some chicks to this. I think you can't have Mummy Duck without her little chicks. So I'll bring my little container full. You can see I have too many takeaways. I'm always being teased for that. Now I'm just using a thick PVA glue, like a tacky type glue, with a high or the low water content. So it's a nice thick glue that you can water down if necessary. I find with the Hearty Soft clay, the air dry clay, I find that PVA works best because it absorbs into the clay as well as the project that you're sticking this to. There you go. So you've got Mummy Duck. Oh, you've got to have this little cheeky chap. So hurry up, Mum. Easter egg hunt is this way. Isn't that sweet? In a minute, I think we'll add some flowers to this in a minute and possibly some Easter eggs as well. So I'll pop him over to one side for now. And And let's see. Next, I'm going to take you over to another one of our new molds. Now, this is one that has been on our website, but we've not actually demonstrated this one before. This is our miniature Easter mold, which is also available on the website. And again, I will use some Hearty Soft clay in here and show you each of these little characters. So I've seen a couple of comments there. I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments, but I'm doing the camera, I'm doing the pop-ups, I'm trying to remember what to tell you as well. On my own here for the first time, so bear with me. A few people have mentioned you've not heard of Hearty Soft Clay before. Hearty Soft Clay is, again, it's an air dry clay. It is, again, as I said, extremely lightweight with a very, very high pigment quality within the colours. I always use the colours to colour my white. So don't be put off by the size of the packets, the difference in the size of the packets. So you get quite a large white and quite a small colour, but the colours are so heavily pigmented that a little bit goes a very long way. So I use this like I would food colouring. I use this to colour the white clay. When I'm done with that, this is how I close my clay. Excuse the rustling of the packet. I squash the clay back into the packet like that, trying to get as much air out as I possibly can. Fold that down like that, put some tape over there, seal that. I put this into a plastic packet, and then this goes into a plastic box. If you're not going to use your clay for a long time, I would recommend vacuum packing your packet. It is air dry clay, so it will dry out over time. When it gets a little dry, it's fine, but once it gets, and you can add a bit more moisture back into it, but once it's completely dry, you can't reconstitute the clay. You can't get it workable again. So try and keep as much moisture in the clay as you can. If it starts drying out, just a couple of squirts of water into the packet, and that will help to reabsorb into the clay. So coming back to our lovely miniature Easter mold, you've got a lovely little miniature Easter egg. These are perfect for cookie toppers. And then you've also got, I'll show you this gorgeous little carrot over here. Let's press that clay into the mold like that. Take a little bit of green. So I'm doing this two-tone. Press the green into the mold like that. Give it a twist and a wiggle. And out pops your tiny little carrot. And again, let's have a look at, let's do a little green, no, I'm going to do a blue bunny. Press the clay into the mould. Now I have pre-conditioned my moulds. I've put corn flour into them. I've used them a couple of times, so I know my moulds are nice and dry. My clay's not too sticky. It's been out of the packet for a little while now, so it's not sticking in my moulds because there's not any excess moisture. Give the mould a flex, and this is how lovely using silicone moulds is. When it's good quality silicone, you can stretch it, but the detail doesn't get distorted. So you've still got all that lovely little detail there. And I'll show you what these look like painted in just a moment. Let's have a look at this daffodil. So you could do this in two-tone as well. You could do the pollen as well as the petals in two-tone. This time I'll just do the flower in yellow. It doesn't have to be a daffodil, but daffodils are synonymous with springtime, Easter, Mother's Day. Daffodils and dandelions of all flowers I know a lot of people think dandelions are weeds. I absolutely love dandelions and daffodils. So we say they're even prettier than roses, for me anyway. Right, so press that into the mould, give that a wiggle. Now with this one, I like to lift the leaves out first because the stem is nice and thin there. You don't want to overstretch it. And there you have lovely little summery springtime daffodil. I think it looks like a cross between a daffodil and daisy. And yeah, let's show you. I'll do this little bunny in pink. I, I think it looks more like a chocolate bunny, so I'll show you how to decorate these in a minute. Press that into the mould, or you can use your cosmetic sponge. Cosmetic sponge also helps to pull the clay away from the edges and gives it a lovely, lovely smooth background, back texture there as well. Give the mould a flex, and out hops your little pink bunny, ready to decorate whatever you're wanting to decorate. So with these, if I get my little pot of characters and goodies out, there are some daffodils in different shades, different tones. And let me see if I can put these onto a card so that we can see them a bit better. And I can lift them up. So this is one of the boxes, the no glue boxes that you can find on the website. This is the 6x4, I think. Scooch those up a bit. What am I forgetting? Oh yeah, there's some Easter eggs, some carrots. There's another Easter egg. Now, you don't have to do much in the way of painting with these. If you want to, you can just stick to marker pens. And let's see if I get a... Where's my pink marker pen gone? Here we go, there's a pink one. So you just draw in the areas that you need. Really, really simple. Let's not forget the paw pads. Now you could do this with a fine paintbrush as well, but you don't need to. You can. That's one of the other lovely things about Hearty clay. Because it's a paper-based clay with really, really fine, um, it's a really fine grained clay, you can use this exactly the same way, or you could use whatever you use on paper, you can use on Hearty soft clay. It feels a bit like, when it dries, it feels a bit like foam. It's a bit like your foamies. So just draw two little eyes there. Let's go over the whiskers with the marker pen. Bring those details out. And do I have an orange marker? Yeah, I do. There you go. And there you have a really easy way of decorating these simple moulds. Pop those away. What else am I missing from this mould? We've got yeah, that's all the characters there. The other lovely thing with this is it wouldn't be a show without me bringing out my gilding wax. So let me bring out my gold gilding wax. Wipe off any excess because I think I've got a bit too much on my finger there. And just rub that over the mold, over your molded piece, and there you have your little golden chocolate Easter bunny. Right, let me just get the gilding wax off my hand, and I've gone and put my wet wipes somewhere safe, which means I'll probably never find them again. But that's okay, I've got a rag there. So I'm going to pop these back in there, and I'm going to show you a way of you. I'm going to show you what you can use this mold for. So here we go. Here I've started assembling a card. Let's just tip that out. Now once I've shown you this, I'll go and get a couple of our design team samples out and show you some of the lovely things that our design team have made. They do an amazing job giving me ideas, giving the office ideas of what exactly can be done with these molds. So I've got a simple square card here, just made with yellow card, layered up, and I think I'm going to add this little label onto the top. Of course, it has to be loads of tiny little tags on here, always the way. Get these off. Oh, come on. Couldn't find my big foam stickers, so I was left with these tiny little ones. So I think I've got those off. There we go. So these are our Easter peel-offs, and these are the gold ones. These are available on the website. Again, pop over to katiesuedesigns.com where you can find everything that you need. Oops. Let's pop that into the center there. Just raised ever so slightly, giving it that lovely 3D look. And we're going to be adding some 3D elements to the card anyway, so you want to have a bit of a 3D look there. I'm using a small little bottle to add some PVA glue onto the back of that character, that little bunny. Let's do the duck. Let's use my thicker glue. That's better. It's not going to go anywhere now. There we go. Let's add the daffodil. And let's add a little blue bunny. I think I'm going to add an Easter egg there. I'm going to add, shall I add the carrot there, or actually swap these round? Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do until I actually start assembling everything. Only then can you decide how you want it to be. And there you have a really, really simple Easter card with just a few embellishments on there. So we used most of the pieces, all the pieces there from the miniature Easter mold, and one of the little ducklings on there. And if you wanted to, you could do exactly the same thing like this, but do it with cookies. So I'm going to show you some samples made by our design team, and then once I've done that, I will show you some cookies using these molds as well. Let me pop that to one side. So here we go. I'm making a right mess in my studio here because I've got very, very limited space here. Let's shift that to one side. Okay, so here you have Grandma's Little Ducklings, and this was made by design team member Karen. Oops, I'm dropping things here. And she's lined up all the little ducklings in a row, used our miniature eggs, used the daffodils, and she's used some of these are the little flowers in our little flowers mold, which will be on the website. And in a moment, I will show you how we've got the flowers mold. I've got the flowers mold here in a moment, which I'll show you. It's the same flowers, but just in a slightly larger size than this. I'll show you those in a minute. But we've got Lily, Harry, Mary, James, Katie, Jack, and Jim. Grandma's Little Ducklings. I think this is really, really sweet, and this would make such a lovely Easter present, or Mother's Day present, or just because I love you present for Grandma or Nan or Mum. This could be Mum's Little Ducklings too, or even Dad's Little Ducklings. So I think this is such a lovely idea. Then we have this beautiful wreath, and this again, this one is being made by Sue. And you've got Mummy Duck, the ducklings, and I love the fact that over here the wing has been remolded and stuck behind here as well. Let me lift that up so you can see that. I think that's such a clever idea that's been done so well. And then we have, this was in the preview, we've got the Easter trail with Mummy Duck and all the miniature molds on there as well. And oh, I've got to show you these. These are super cute. These have been made by Linda, and they are soaps made using the Mummy Duck, the miniature rose, or the I think these are the 4-in-1 roses. And you've got the little ducklings there as well. So you can use molds, you can use wax, you can use soap, you can use all of those in our molds. And the next thing we've got coming up as well is our new decorative eggs. Now, last year you would have seen our Easter egg molds, which was they were plain eggs, and this year we've also got some decorative eggs to go alongside those. So I'll show you those side by side. Right, move those to one side, running out of space here. Just put that down there. There we go. So let's show you the new decorative eggs alongside the Easter eggs mold. And then you can see the difference between the two, and also how easy it is to decorate these. So I've got a lovely example here by, this one's by Karen, using our ferns and the decorative eggs. She's made this beautiful cake topper to go on top of your Easter cake, with the lovely, well, the eggs made in colour and then lightly brushed with white paint. And here's a lovely example too, where the decorative eggs have been turned into balloons. I think that's such a clever idea. And that's been done by Tracy. And also we've got our panda as well, which has been turned into a beach bear instead. So I'll put those to one side as well. I'm running out of space here. Oh, and I've got a lovely Easter card. If I can find it, here we go. And here's another one. And this one's been done by Claire, and she's molded the decorative eggs in white and then used some, I think that's acrylic paint, metallic acrylic paint on the top. And I love the way she's cut into this one to make it look like a cracked egg. We'll see if we can replicate that in just a moment. So I'm going to leave that to one side. Oh, another thing is we've got the Easter MDF words, which are also available on the website. So if you pop over to katiesuedesigns.com. You'll find that one. We've also got, you can paint those nicely with acrylic paint or your inks. If you put a white background on there first, they go really well with your stamping inks. And that is the Blessings MDF. You can find that on our website too. Pop those to one side. All right, let's show you how this mold works. Start with the decorative eggs. Let's put a couple of these out, and then I will bring these to life in just a moment. Right, let's start off with some pink clay. Be generous with the clay that you put into this mold, because you want to keep those edges nice and smooth. It's quite a shallow mold, which is lovely for card craft, so you're not going to get an egg that's too deep. It's perfect for your card craft and your cookie craft. Smooth those edges round. Press that into the mold. Give the mold a wiggle. And you can see how the air gets underneath. Air gets underneath there and automatically releases the clay from the mold. And then out pops your beautiful decorated egg. And you can see how shallow that is, which is perfect for your card craft. Now in comparison, this is our Easter egg mold, which this has been made as a two-part mold. So you sculpt one side or mold one side and then you can mold the other. So as an example, here's one of the large eggs, and that's been molded in two halves and stuck together. Now if you wanted to, you could also take a cocktail stick and have that inside like that. So you could use this one for your food craft. You have a chocolate shell, fill that with something, and you can make your three-dimensional chocolate eggs that can go on top of your cake or your cookies or cupcakes or your card craft. So here is an example of how those eggs have been used in a three-dimensional way, like that. We've got our Easter rabbits, but you could also choose to, if I took that away, you could have our Easter bunny in there as well. There's so many things you can do with these, but these are the two-piece Easter egg mold, and these are our decorative Easter eggs. And I will show you the decorative eggs, and I'll show you now how these can be easily decorated. So I'm going to use some stamping ink, which I got a lovely new set the other day. I'm not big on stamping, so I don't need much in the way of stamp ink. However, this has been found my wet wipes. This has been extremely useful because I don't know what colours I want to buy, and I don't need to use very much. So this little pad has been really useful. I can just get the colours I want when I want them. So I'm going to go for a bit of the blue, my finger. And then just gently get a bit of a darker purpley blue there. And that picks up all that gorgeous detail in the mould. Yeah, I'll just stick with blue for now. I want to put a bit of purple on there just to give that a bit of a shadow. Bit of an ombre look. So you've got that decorative egg. If I go over to, I'm going to do one more colour, and then I'm going to switch over to some gilding wax. Let's see what yellow looks like. I haven't actually tried this yet. It's probably not going to show up on camera. So let's try lovely kind of corally blush darker orange there. And that's pulled out that all that detail beautifully. And then if I wanted to, let's switch over to, oh, shall I do silver or gold? Let's do some gold gilding wax again. So I normally take some gilding wax, take some of the excess off my fingers because you don't want to put too much wax onto your piece, and then just gently rub your finger over the mould to lift up, or over your moulded piece to lift up all that gorgeous detail. Oops. Without dripping it, obviously. I'll give you a little reminder of Mother Duck in just a moment so you can have another look at that. I think I'm going to add a little bit of gold onto that one as well. So look at that gorgeous flower detail there. I don't know if you can see it with the reflection. So you've got that. Let's add a bit more gold to this egg as well. I want it to be a bit like a golden goose egg. So you could use modelling chocolate and then decorate your cookies with these gorgeous, gorgeous decorative eggs. But I think let's maybe stick a couple of these back onto our bucket. I'm thinking maybe that one there, or I think that one. So I'm going to use a thick gel medium. This is just a thick gel glue, an acrylic medium. It goes nicely onto thicker pieces where I want. It's a dimensional glaze or medium, so it will mold around whatever I'm sticking it to. I tend to avoid hot glue because as this is air dry clay, it's got moisture inside it, and over time, if your piece isn't completely dry when you glue it down, as it dries out, the glue will actually separate from your clay, and your clay pieces will start to fall off, whatever you've stuck them to. So I tend not. I tend to avoid hot glue if I can. You get a nice quick stick, but then you get the same with the gel medium, and you're not going to have to worry about that falling off afterwards. So I tend to stick to gel mediums rather than hot glue. Anything PVA based will tend to stick and hold your piece, your clay in place. Let's move those out of the way because I want to try and show you. As I can't believe how quickly the time is going. I've normally got someone directing me, asking me questions and telling me what I need to do next, and I don't have that this time. So let me show you. Let's go on to the next project, I think, which will be. Let's show you. Yeah, let's show you Mummy Duck again. But this time, I'm balancing a lot of things here. This time, let's show you a very, very simple card and how you can manipulate your clay pieces once they've already been molded. So they're molded, they're dry, and now I want to create a little scene. So get this one I've already got. Sort of move that over to one side. Grab my craft knife. Now I want to have a little duck swimming in a pond, a little bit like this lovely card by Karen. She's made a lovely decorative scene here, lovely simple card. You don't have to be a fantastic card maker to make something really, really effective like this. And I will show you how to do that we've got these cards, pre-folded cards on the website. These are A6 in size. I can't remember which ones these are. Ian might have to help me with that, but we do have some pre-folded cards on our website. We've also got 300 GSM and 190 GSM card, which is perfect for anything you want to make yourself. I've used a pre-folded card. I've used some inks and stamping inks just to give an impression of a duck pond. And then once my clay is dry, my piece is completely dry, I'm going to cut off the legs really carefully with my craft knife. And that's the lovely thing about this air dry clay, because it's a very fine grained paper clay. You can cut through it once it's dry, um, and you get a lovely, lovely crisp line there. So you can cut your pieces after you've made them, which I think is such such a useful thing when you're making cards. Let me grab a blue pen. Let's do some watermarks here. So there we go. Some water ripples. And place that onto my card like that. And you've got Mummy Duck swimming in the pond. You could have her standing in the pond if you want, or standing in front of the pond, but I wanted her swimming, so I've cut her legs off like that. And then I think, let's see, yes, I'm going to show you the flower mould. Our lovely flowers mould. And for this one, you can make a whole variety of different coloured flowers. Look at that. So when you've got scraps of clay left over, why not use them up, make a whole bunch of these, and they're ready in your craft stash for whenever you need them. So I'm going to do a two-tone colour here. I'm going to do a pink and yellow. So I'm going to press some yellow clay into my mould. And press some pink clay into my mould. Let's just make sure it's gone into all the areas that you need it to go. I hope you're enjoying a Facebook Live over the being live on TV. I'm not getting a chance to reply to many comments at the moment. I hope our team are helping in the background there with any questions you might have. I hope to be doing more of these, and I hope to become a little more proficient with it as we go along. But I really hope you're all enjoying it, and I hope you get a chance to watch it back later. So if you want to see how to do something again, this will be it is being recorded, so you will have a chance to watch this back later. So this is our flowers mold. You've got all these different shaped flowers. Let me just see if I can line these all up so you can see exactly what they look like. I think this one looks like a little daffodil. Then you've got that one, and you've got this one, which looks just like a sunflower. I love that. So you've got six different flowers on our flowers mold. And again, this is available on katiesuedesigns.com. So do pop on over there and have a look to find all our molds. We do this in a smaller size as well. Our little flowers, they look the same, but they're a smaller size. And they work beautifully. So I'm going to pop that there. That's still wet, so I'm not going to let that dry on the card because that will warp the card. But I think maybe I'll pop that one over there for now. And then I'm going to use our rose leaves mold. Maybe that one's a bit big. Let's make some small leaves. And again, I would pop these to one side, let them dry before placing them onto your card. And this comes in a lovely variety of sizes. I forgot I've actually got my display cards here, so let me get these out. The rose leaves mould is perfect. You get all these different sizes of rose leaves. You don't have to make them green. You can make them orange if you want a more autumn feel, but they're perfect for layering up like that if you wanted to make feathers, or if you want to make a fairy house roof. These are perfect because you get all the different sizes. You can start large and go smaller all the way up as well. I've actually used these to make a Christmas tree as well. So around a foam cone or a cardboard cone, you can layer these up and make the most gorgeous Christmas tree. And if you wanted to, you can add flowers to that tree as well and make some spring trees. So that might be an idea for a tutorial at some point. No promises, but if I get a chance to, I might do that. Right. So you've got some leaves there. Then I'm going to take a green marker pen. I'll be honest with you, I'm making some of this up as I go along. So some of these bits I have had made up already, but this is how I craft. I make things up as I go. So I think I'm going to add a stem there, and a stem there. And then I'm going to take some leaves that I've already got made up. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to have a clear up here in a minute so we can clear the deck so I can do the next demo. Let's pop that leaf there. That one there. Little flower there. Let's get some smaller leaves this time. That one there. That one there. It's already starting to look like spring in this picture. And then I think I'm going to add... Oh, he wants to go for a swim. He wants to join Mummy Duck. So let's add... This little duckling's about to run into the water to get wet. And then I think where have I got to put them? Let's just double check if I can find it. Can't find my little tag that I had. Ah, here we go. Here it is. I think, yeah, let's add this little tag. Again, this is using some of our background papers. I can't remember which one this is. This is just some of the scrap and some PVA glue on the back of this. And our Easter peel-off stickers. And there you have Mummy Duck, little duckling, and flowers and rose leaves to make a really, really simple Easter card. I'll pop that to one side to dry. I will take some close-up pictures of these once they're all dry at the end of this, and I'll post some pictures online a bit later on so you can see all the close-ups of these. Let me pop these away. And these, oh, and then I want to show you a continuous rattan basket leaf. And this is such a lovely mould to use, and you can make the most gorgeous Easter basket with it and upcycle your projects. So, or upcycle some of your rubbish at home. Here we go. So you can take a simple little tin like this, cover this in your basket weave, give it a handle with some wire covered in string, give it a bow, and you've got the perfect little gift basket for Easter, or for not just for Easter, but for any occasion really. And I love the fact, because it's a continuous mold, the top and the edges all line up. And I'll show you how to cover this tin so that you can make your own basket. So let me put that to one side for just a minute. There we go. I knew I should have got some orange clay out. Let's just do this in, I'm going to mix some clay up. Actually, I'm going to, this will be a good tip for you as well. I like to pre-mix my colours. Sorry, hold on a moment. Right, I've made a noise, got rid of the packet. Sometimes you'll find your clay does start to get a little on the firm side. It starts to dry out. You don't necessarily need this colour anymore for any particular project. When that starts to happen, I can keep my clay going for a long time by reconstituting it, by adding some more white back into the clay. It does change the colour, it lightens the clay to a different colour, but it doesn't matter if I don't need that particular shade anymore. By adding some white back into it, I can soften the clay again, get it workable, and this is how I can make my clay last time and I can make it last a long time by just adding more white into the clay. If you're going to be doing lots of painting anyway, it doesn't really matter what colour your clay is. So this is how I make my clay last a long time. Right, let me just cover that clay up so it doesn't dry out too much. Right, that's mixed reasonably well. Put that to one side. So this is the continuous rattan weave, continuous rattan basket weave mould. What I like to do with this is I like to flatten my clay out into a long sheet like this. If I'm going to be wrapping this around my tin, it doesn't need to be the full width of the mould. But I want as long a piece as possible, so I'm going to go along the long end here. And now that my clay is flat, I can start pressing this into the mould. If you've got a piece of clay that's bunched up or rolled up into a sausage or a ball, and you press that and you roll it in here, you're going to get a shadow image of the texture, and that's not, you don't want the shadow image. So what I'm doing is I'm pressing and pulling the clay away from the edge, and I'm just pressing the clay. You can see it's shifting up as I go. Pull off that excess, fold it back. I just want to make sure this is nice and firm. There's no shadow image of the clay. I'm just pressing to keep that texture nice and flat, keeping my clay as thin as possible. There we go. That will do, I think. And then I'm just going to lift that up, and there you have your gorgeous basket weave. Now you can leave that to dry as a flat sheet like that. In the past, I used to stick this onto my project right now and leave that to dry, and also join up the other edges now. I've since found that the clay does shrink ever so slightly because there is moisture in the clay. As that moisture gets evaporated off and as the clay dries, it will shrink ever so slightly. So to avoid the edges pulling away as it dries, as it shrinks, I let it drop before I stick it down. I actually let it dry on the thing that I want to stick it to. So with that, I will take some paper towel place my clay on top of there, and then I'll leave that to dry, probably overnight, or for, yeah, I would leave this to dry overnight because I don't want any excessive shrinkage when I join the pieces up. And because this is a continuous basket weave, let me just slip that to one side there for a minute. It means that when I create the second piece, the second strip, this will happen. I'm not going to make this perfect. I just want to show you how they line up with each other. Now oops, sorry about this. That will line up perfectly with that bit. You can stick that down and those two edges will join up perfectly. So I stuck this together last night. There's the join over there, and there's the join over there where I joined these two pieces up. But because the clay was already dry, or mostly dry, I was able to join those edges up to each other without there being any more shrinkage as the clay dries. And there you have your basket weave craft project. But this is also perfect for cakes. So if you wanted to have a basket cake, you could line up your pieces together. You could make your panels like that, and then line those pieces up against your cake all the way round with your icing, however you want. They line up top to bottom, they line up side by side, and you can make, well, or you can make these as flat sheets with the hearty soft clay and cut these pieces up as you need for whatever your craft projects are. They also take paint and ink really well. So if I take a bit of acrylic paint, I'll show you both with acrylic and with ink. I'm going to take a bit of white acrylic paint and I'm going to take the excess off my brush, and that lifts all that texture and detail off, just like that. So it lifts all the detail and you get the shadow effect you want. Now if you want the double shadow effect, it's not so easy to see here. I'm going to try it with some red because I have coloured it here with some orange, but you can go over this with whichever colour ink you're wanting to use. Let's go back to the red. You could also use your waxes. So I've gone and stuck my wax in my lip balm, which is lovely. It's going to be all slippery now. And again, you can lift up all that texture and detail with your wax. Then if you wanted to get a deeper effect, then you then go back over with your white and you get different tones of highlights coming through. So I don't have very much paint on my brush. It's really, really light, and that way you can get all that texture, or you can highlight all that texture. Let me put that paint out the way before I stick my hand in it or do something stupid with it. Move those out the way. So you've got your lovely little basket. Let me move that clay. I'm going to pop this clay back into a little snack bag, Ziploc snack bag, and get all the air out. And then once that's done, I'll pop this into another packet with all my other pre-coloured clays and pop that into a box. So that's the rattan leaf. And so I think I want to stick another duck on here. Oh, actually, I don't know. Let's some sweets inside there, like that. And I actually think maybe a duck and some daffodils will work really well with that. Now I've got some daffodils already made up. I'm not going to make any daffodils on this show because I want to show you the mother duck again. But I think, yeah, I'm just going to grab my glue, which has gone into hiding. So I'm just going to use some tacky glue for this instead. Now you can do this, you can wire this if you want to, but I'm not going to this time. Of course, my glue's not coming out. There we go. Just going to stick a big blob of glue onto my packet. I'm going to stick that daffodil there, and let's see, that daffodil there, that daffodil there. That will stick in a minute. It's not sticking. There we go. I'm not doing a very good job. I should have used my gel glue, which I've gone and hidden somewhere on my desk. You can, I'll come back to that in just a moment. Let's stick these in the corner. Let's stick, that one goes there, that one goes there, and I will find my gel glue. Where have I hidden you? Here we go. It's because I'm rushing. I've seen the time and I want to show you some more things before time runs out. Right, there we go. This is the joy of the gel glue. It just sticks where you want it and holds things in place. So I've got daffodils in a basket, in a treat bag, and I have a little tag over here. Let's just stick the tag on the side of your basket. Yeah, I'll stick this tag over there like that. Happy Easter. And if I had time, I'd probably wire them up instead and tie them onto my bag. But I just want to show you this for effect. Let's wipe the glue off my tools. And I think I'm going to add, oh yeah, I know, I think this will work best for this. Let's add a little rabbit from our, I'm going to scrape that glue off. I don't like where the tag's gone on that, so let's just rub that glue off. We'll stick the tag back on later. That's the other nice thing with using a PVA glue. You can just wipe it off if it's in the wrong place. So this is our Easter rabbit, and we've also got an Easter bunny, and I'll show you the two of them together in a moment. So pop our little Easter rabbit there, and yeah, let's do the brown rabbit next to it. So I've not curved these are flat, but they are quite small, so that shouldn't be an issue. And there you have some daffodils and rabbits on a rat and weave gift basket, ready to gift to whoever you want for Easter. I've done that very quickly. I should probably, I'll try and neaten that up a bit later and take a lovely good photograph of that and pop that onto our social media sites later. So let me pop that to one side to dry, and the next card I've got hiding is over, here we go. Really don't have very much space here in the studio. I should learn to be a little more organised. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you something else as well, which I can show you on this next card with let's just see how much time we've got. Yeah, very quickly, there's our daffodils. So you've got the fan. This is made up in several layers. You layer two pieces of those with the cone for the daffodil. There are some videos on our YouTube channel where it gives you, well, with most of our products, we have a video which shows you exactly how to use each of our molds. So if you're not sure, have a look at the video. If you're still not sure, message us on social media and somebody should be able to answer your questions for you. So let me pop that to one side and then I will come. Oh, I've still got so much to show you. Right, very quickly, I want to show you. Don't forget, you can use our molds for both craft and cake decorating. So here I've made some fake cookies, but they don't have to be fake cookies. They could be real cookies. Just imagine they're real, and this is your fondant and icing on top of your sugar cookies. So don't forget, you can use our molds for sugar craft as well. Let's add chocolate Easter egg. There we go. Chocolate bunny. So we've got different texture molds here. We've got the cross stitch and we've got one of our leaf textures. I think Ian might have to help me with this one. I can't remember the name offhand. Um, it is one of our newer background textures. Ian, if you could help me with that one, please. I can't remember the name offhand. And that's used with using our miniature Easter mold with that as well. Our molds are also perfect for resin, don't forget, and oven baked clays. So you can make some lovely jewelry pieces. I think this is lovely, Mummy Duck and her ducklings. I think this would make such a lovely Mother's Day gift or Easter gift for Mum or Nan. Oh, this one is really cool. This is one of those oh, powered by the sun, solar powered rockers, and the leaves have been the legs have been stuck there, and as the sun hits that, it rocks backwards and forwards, and the leaves go up and down like that. And all the little Easter molds have been popped around there. I think that's such a clever idea. Pop that to one side. So yeah, don't forget you can use this for cookies as well. And then I want to show you something really, really cute. Together with our molds, I've got to show you these. These aren't available on our website yet, but they will be available next week. A kaleidoscope of butterflies. These are incredible. They come in bright colours and they come in pastel colours. They're double-sided and they're all pre-cut. So if I open this up, and I'm going to stick some of these to my next card. I'm so excited about these, really, really excited. Let's just pop this one out. So as I said, these are all pre-die cut. These are available next week on our website. Pop that out like that. They're double-sided. These are the brights and these are the pastel shades. And some of them are smaller than my little baby finger and others are lovely and big. Fold them in half and then you can stick those to your cards. I think these are incredibly beautiful. Absolutely, Katie Sue, well done. These are unbelievable. I'm not a big paper crafter, but I will be using these a lot. So do keep a lookout next week. They will be available from then. But coming back to the molds quickly, I think a quick recap because we're running out of time here. I can't believe we've only got 10 minutes left. Honestly, I thought I was going to struggle to show you everything, but it it feels great to actually be able to show you so much, show you things in a little more detail than I would normally. So let's take you back to Mummy Duck and show you these again. So don't forget, Available on our website, katiesuedesigns.com. You've got Mummy Duck and her three little ducklings, and of course Daddy Duck as well, if you want to add Daddy Duck into the mix. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be a duck, it could be a goose as well. So there we go. And pop the clay into the mould. Nicely, easily released. You can add more clay in. If you don't have enough clay, you can add clay into the mould. If you've got too much clay in the mould, you can pull it off like that. Pull the clay away from the edges. Press that flat. You can use a cosmetic sponge if you need to. Give the mould a wiggle, and out pops your duck. Pop that to one side again. Onto a piece of paper towel to dry. The paper towel will absorb the moisture underneath, and the air will dry your molded piece on the top. And then you can always, after half an hour, especially with a piece like this, you can turn it over and then just keep turning it like that, just so it dries evenly. So if you find your pieces are starting to curl, just turn them over and let the air dry the other side of it. That will prevent things from curling too much. So this is what I love so much about air dry clay. You can shape it to any shape you want. So this has been shaped over our clear domes, which are available on our website. And I've coloured a blue piece of card with some ink. We're not going to get a time to stick all these down, looking at the time now. What is the time now, actually? We started at 12:30, and oh my goodness, I've been going for an hour and a half. I did not realise. I'm so sorry, everybody. But hopefully you're all having a good time, and we can just, I'll finish these off and then I'll go on to our preview of our products. The Easter, let's add these two little chicks here and an Easter egg over there. Or actually, let's add the Easter egg in there with our Easter bunny. There we go. I will finish this off air and post a lovely picture afterwards. Now, when you do buy our products, whatever you make, please do share them on our social media pages. We'd love to see what you're doing. So there's Katie Sue Designs. Have a look at our website. It will direct you to our social media pages. Ian, if you could maybe put a link to our social media group where everyone can post their artwork, that would be really appreciated. Yeah, as I said previously, everything is available at katiesuedesigns.com. If you've got any questions, post them in the group, post them in the chat. Someone will try and answer your questions for you. Next time I'll set a timer so that you're not kept too long. I wish I could show you more, but I will be back. I will be doing more Facebook Lives, hopefully, and I hope to see you all again soon. So goodbye for now, and I'll put some pictures up later. And again, here is a little slideshow just so you can see some of the samples again. See you all again soon. Bye.